What's up? What's up? This is Sil of Sil Abdul Inc. And you don't have to adjust your screens. We really do have Chris Wong-Swenson from the Ping Pong Flicks here today, this evening. How are you doing today,
Good.
Chris?
Aloha. How you doing?
Great, great. Well, like I said, definitely was looking forward to getting you on this coffee life that I got going on over here. And
Oh,
it's very hyper and caffeinated. Like literally people like wonder like the whole coffee talk thing. Like I literally I could drink coffee any time of the day. So
oh wow.
so when I did my first stream, I just literally I was just drinking coffee. I was like, oh, coffee talk, you know. So
Oh, damn.
so
Yeah,
I live
it's
it.
like 5 p.m. here. I'm not going to have coffee because I'm not going to be able to sleep.
Like we live this life, Chris. You gotta go all in with it. But so let's look at who's in the chat here. Like I said, obviously Chris needs no introduction. We got Reese here. We got Yovik. I saw you on the Film Gob stream earlier. What's up to you? And Kumar, Jessica. So I got my people that I always talk to online. I'm glad y'all here supporting this time slot. This is not a normal slot for me, Chris. Like normally I do coffee talk. It really is like morning, you know, for myself.
Oh, okay.
but I just decided to stretch it.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna, this is special, so we're gonna go ahead and go with it. So yeah, great to see everybody here at Vega. What's going on? Hot Dog Wong. So we're representing the hot dog. We got people to just remember. That's one thing I want to ask you. Like, I always wondered that whole hot dog analogy thing. Like, was that something that you just like beforehand? I'm gonna use this analogy to describe, or just off the cuff? Like it was just.
No, I'm in food service, so I'm always thinking about food in terms of that. And when I was thinking about it, for some weird reason, I just went for hot dog. Like if I'm gonna get, and I just hot dog, because a lot of my shows, I did. It's not scripted. Like it's all
Right.
tabs of what I'm gonna talk about, and I just go. And I went off on the hot dog thing. Then Krypton Cage, which
Yes,
picked it up, made some music video out of it, and it just people got caught on the hot dog. My wife bought that from Etsy, and she said, "You gotta hang that up. That's your brand now. You got the hot dog thing going." So I'm like,
that's
keep
a
the hot dog life.
hot
It's
dog
like
life.
just stuck, yeah.
That's how it goes. I mean, I think when you're just as natural as possible, just things just kind of stick, and that did. And Krypton Cage made it a hit. So hopefully he'll pop up here if he's still awoke. But let's see. Let's double check who we have here. McLovin, what's up? We got
Katsuka.
Yes. So we got some cool people in here, and man, like I said, I mean, before we jumped to the stream, I always say this is like a full circle moment for me because when I first started my content creation, you was one of the first channels that allowed me to guest. At that time, I was with a different entertainment news website, and now I'm with Geekosity. Shout out to Mikey Sutton. He'll probably watch this. But and at that time, that gave me my first big exposure earlier this year. So I always was very appreciative of you using your platform, for newer people,
Oh, no problem.
Yeah. So to have you here, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff.
I don't do crossover streams often, and I try to. So
yeah. Well, hey, I feel privileged. Definitely. We got some Periscope love. YouTube channel name. My name's still Abdul Inc. and Ping Pong Flicks. So anyway, just to kind of get started, because like I said, I know my viewers probably know more about you than they know about me. So we don't have to really go into the full introduction, but I always ask people who guest, as far as fans of Snyder, you have a big following, people here that loves Zack Snyder's material. Where did that start for you as far as just your interest in Snyder and his material?
Well, for Snyder, like I'm always a DC fan. I was DC fan first, and I loved him, loved DC since the Christopher Reeve Superman. In fact, that's why my name is Chris after Christopher Reeve, because my parents didn't think that Clark would be such a cool name Uh, going down, they felt bad for him. I'm like, I don't think we should call you Clark. We should call you, since you like that version of Superman, let's call you Christopher. So I named me that. And then, but I started liking Snyder, and I didn't even know him as a director. I just knew him like that 300 movie was awesome. Like I've never seen anything like that. And he really did something for action movies, from the speed up, the ramp up type action. It was awesome. And then later on, you see Watchmen, which is when he got into hero stuff. And I was like, this is different. I didn't read Watchmen before. Like I didn't know anything about the graphic novel, anything like that. And I went into it, we at that time, there was like basically superheroes were like the most rated R we got with superheroes were like Blade. And even that was like, that was kind of like a vampire hunter type of thing. But essentially, like Watchmen was like hard R. It's got like sex scene in there. And like, wow, this is like super adult, shocking. But I'm like, I like it. I want to see it again. And then as we go through Sucker Punch and everything, I was in like not totally invested, but I appreciated it and I liked it. And then when I heard that he was doing Man of Steel, I was like, Zack Snyder? Wait, the guy who did Watchmen 300? Yes! Because I've always wanted that Superman fight to be a Dragon Ball Z fight. I think like when you think of superheroes, you think of them like moving quickly, fast, and like ramped up speed and things like that. I'm like, okay, if anybody can get Superman action right, it's gonna be that guy, right? Exactly.
Yes.
So that's how I kind of just obsessed from now on.
Exactly. That Watchmen, like you said, I mean, similar to you, 300 is what introduced me to Zack, because I didn't really get into the Dawn of the Dead. I'm not a huge zombie movie person, but I'm definitely going to watch Army of the Dead, But so 300, that cinematography, that, like you said, that slow motion and the violence, and that's what introduced me to Zack. And I remember after Superman Returns, they wanted to kind of put more action into Superman, right? And so they tapped Zack, and I was like, this is interesting. So very similar to you, that's what kind of put me, onto Zack Snyder. And so, like you mentioned, Man of Steel, we get to that. Obviously, that's a definitive story to a lot of people of our generation of just Superman. And then BVS. I put people on the spot with this question because there's a mini faction of people who prefer Man of Steel over BVS. So just off the cuff, just you personally. I know you love both movies, obviously, Man of Steel and BVS, but just if you had to pick one little over the other.
I've said it all the time. BVS is still my number one. I mean, yeah, it's great. I'm a Superman fan, and definitely Man of Steel is a great Superman film. But BVS, you've got Superman, you've got Batman, you've got Wonder Woman, you've got a doomsday fight. It's like, and you got like, it sounds like a suspense thriller within, and a political thing, and there's drama within it, and the visuals of it. Like, I know they didn't use Larry Fong for Man of Steel, and I like how Larry Fong and how they captured the different visuals from BVS. I'd say is much more artistic than Man of Steel. I thought Man of Steel, they try to use a lot of that. He tried to make it more grounded, kind of like The Dark Knight, because Christopher Nolan was the producer at the time, and I'm wondering if they felt like they should use the shaking cam a lot to be more like it's grounded and real, which is awesome. But I really enjoyed a lot of those slower moments in BVS. A lot of this really nice visuals, because at that time I was still in art. I was in art school and the University of Hawaii, and so I've always enjoyed film and animation through the different frames that came up, and I really appreciated that part of it. So BVS.
Same with me. Like BVS. I mean, because like I said, I remember the feeling I had, in the theater watching Man of Steel, and I was, it was just a wonderful, like I said, definitive, the first flight, and then BVS. I went to the midnight showing and then I went to a 9 o'clock showing the next day to see BVS again. So that's how that grabbed me, very early. So I'm with you on that, definitely. And like I said, I think a lot of people kind of agree with that. Now, I always talked about, again, I told you beforehand that, after BVS, we understood the smear campaign basically against Zack and everything. And then we found out about Justice League and then what became Justice League. And so I gave you the heads up about this video.
Here we go.
When we found out that we were missing a lot more than we thought from the Justice League movie that we received. 3 years, almost 3 years to this day.
Yeah.
This was actually December 3rd, 2017. I'm gonna just play a little bit of it here. I don't think I shared the audio. So let me try it again. Because that's one thing with StreamYard, you gotta share the audio.
Yeah, I have that same problem.
Here we go.
Steel. We get Zod and Superman.
Can you hear that okay, Chris?
The skull
Yeah.
over.
Okay.
That's the nightmare sequence, the dream state for that movie. Batman v Superman, we get the nightmare scene from Batman's vision. Wonder Woman, we get the Ares and Wonder Woman tempting each other, and we have that little dreamlike state. That makes sense to have this movie have that dreamlike state once again, and it is to tie into the nightmare scene. Oh my God, that is so lame that they took that out. Steps back from it and delivers the final blow.
You
to
just getting
Steffi.
started,
I
Chris.
love that. That's what it was missing. I didn't want Steppenwolf to be taken away by parademons. It seems so lackluster. Lackluster. I always thought that Superman would come in there, boom, and just hits him right back into the boom tube or something. I tweeted out that he should have said, "This is my world and you don't belong here," or something. Bam, that would have been so much more impactful, so much more awesome than what we got. And you can tell because he was like completely CG'd into that scene, like it didn't belong in there. The whole frost breath and stuff. Maybe the frost breath might have been there, but I just feel like he should have been the final.
So animated.
Final movie.
Yes.
Definitely was killed by Darkseid. Why did you take out Darkseid? I know you maybe
Why'd you take out
saving
Darkseid,
for later on, but this is the time to bring him in as a teaser. Look what they did with Thanos. All he did was turn around. Everybody's talking about who the heck was that guy. We needed that. We needed Darkseid intends to come to Earth to meet the Kryptonian. This is just so much.
Oh yeah.
And then
Really frustrated.
Oh man,
I'm curious now how much of that it was actually true that those were deleted scenes. So,
right.
Yeah, I want to take a look.
I was hesitant to play a lot of that because now it's like we got to think about spoilers, because that video you went through a lot of different scenes supposedly,
Right
in the film. But that animation, like I said, 3 years ago, that was used almost to the day. 3 years ago, right? And it's like knowing what you know now, because like now it's like, you kind of just see the more positive. You got the announcement. It's like, what would you tell yourself 3 years ago at that round up person that was just so?
I would have blew his mind, man. I would have said, "Don't worry, 3 more years, you're gonna get that and more."
Right, exactly. And like you were right about the Snyder cut. You've always been right. You've always been right.
Or even more so, it'd be like, guess what? You really only saw a quarter of Zack's work. We're like, whoa. I would have been even more pissed.
But it's so funny. It's like I said before, that was the first video I seen of you. So after Justice League came out, I was just kind of like, I was done with just DCEU. I was like, this isn't, and I started, it was really only like you and Dave Pena at that time doing like content, on YouTube. And so when I caught your video, it's like that just transcended, time and space. It's like there's people out there that is frustrated as I am, Yeah. And a little later in the video, you kind of go in on Kevin Sujihara a little bit too, which is but I was just like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you said it's on tape, no,
Yeah.
but I was like, yeah, I was like, that was that passion, and like that, got me, online a little bit, and kind of found people of the movement. So I always credit that video to sparking my fire for releasing Snyder Cut, which is, like I said, it was late 2017, and a lot of people felt the same way,
Yeah.
and then we get to how fast forward, and you see Patty Jenkins today is talking about how that Justice League was. What was your thoughts on some of the comments? I think Sean O'Connell did the interview.
Sean O'Connell did the interview. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really I was actually quite shocked she said that much. In fact, I thought, sometimes you feel that a lot of these directors, they don't want to burn their bridges, and so they're very political. And I know she's like one of those ones that are very political and stuff. But maybe it could be because a lot of, maybe the Warner Media investigation is going around, and they clearly are clearing up some bridges that they don't need to, have it intact. And so she's all right to just come out and say things that, could potentially harm relationships with certain people. So I saw that and I'm like, oh, I think this is the start of just like, all right, we don't care about those relationships anymore. We're protected in a way in the background. And so we can say what we want to say. Albeit maybe even more of a nicer fashion. But essentially, she said that was dumpster fire, right?
Yeah.
They taught her, and she didn't even just say she tossed it out. She says us and the all DC directors, James Gunn, James Wan, all of them tossed that out. And I'm like, perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. That was pretty awesome. Like you said, that she was able to voice it. And, me personally, I give a big part of that credit to Ray Fisher because he really kind of started this speaking out against that old regime. When they wanted just kind of to keep it silent, other execs wanted to keep it silent. Ray Fisher was like, no, like, just let's shine the light on just how messed up it was. Yeah. And the injustice that was done, and now you see, like I said, the directors. I mean, Patty Jean, that's a pretty big deal. She has a movie coming out.
Yeah, and who's writer? She shares screenplay credit with one of the people who worked on that movie. A big part of that, Jeff Johns.
Yeah.
So for her to come out and say that now, saying that wasn't, it's almost like you are pretty much saying something negative to all the creators or the people who were in charge of making that go down. And so that's why I was like, oh wow, that is a big difference from maybe a while back, I think. Or she could not say it all, so she tried to
well, that's the thing, because I mean NDAs are a real thing, so literally they probably just could not speak on it. And I think Ray Fisher, he told that line and was like, this is as far as I can go with it. And I think now it's just the line, I think, is just gone now. If you have Patty Jenkins, because she still has a relationship with Warner Brothers. She's talking about a third Wonder Woman film. So it's like it was no fear in her statements. Yeah,
no fear in her statements. And maybe you're right. It probably took someone like Ray Fisher, an actor who cannot be bought. He clearly doesn't care accountability over entertainment. He's just pretty much everything. And it takes someone like that who can't be bought by saying, I'll give you a role, I'll give you money, or things like that. And he's clearly, no, this is wrong, and I'm gonna go all the way to the top, whatever is gonna happen. So I think that's what's happening now. I feel.
Yeah. So I always shout out Ray Fisher with that, because he set that trend, and you see that he's getting more support for people who were around when all this injustice was happening. And we got Fatal J jumping in here as well. What's going on, Fatal? Coming in here. He always types in all caps, so I always see it, and I do appreciate, definitely smash that like button. Definitely, and
smash that like button. You just smash that like button.
So I definitely appreciate the support. And like I said, we got Chris Wong-Swenson here, so come on now. So and I go back to that whole memory lane thing, because as I always said, you know, when I got started sort of in the movement, like I said, I really didn't get as vocal until, you know, till Ben Affleck really tweeted it out. Really started, but in 2017, that was just me kind of getting to know this movement and what was going on. And I always looked at, you know, I would just say it. I mean, you're one of the people now where you have that influential voice because, you know, you were there in the beginning, in a sense. I have a certain reverence for people. I mean, not to take away anyone that hashtagged, anyone that did anything with the, you know, with the donations and spread that awareness. I mean, everyone had a part in us getting this announcement.
Yep. Every
just
single
me,
one.
yeah, just me personally. I look at the people that, you know, like I said, that I just recognized in the beginning when I guess I was trying to find my voice, you know, in the movement, you know. So just want to, you know, show you that appreciation and know that, you know, definitely, you know, what you do, I think it's awesome. And, you know, and that kind of takes us to like this, I feel like it's like a shift in a sense. And what I mean by that is it started off, we was looking for a movie, right? It just started off, we just wanted the real film. We just wanted the Snyder cut, right? Then along the way, AFSP and Feed the Hungry, you know, Subway, you know, and things like that, it became bigger than a movie. And then now we got the announcement of the movie. It's like, okay, well, AFSP, that's still continuing. We're still doing these things, you know, with Us United and things like that. And now it's a shift, like in the power of the fandom. And I don't know, it's almost like that disturbance of the force in the sense, like something has shifted where the fandom has more power in a sense, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Influence. You know, when people want to find out what Zack Snyder is thinking or talking about, they have to watch League of Mayhems with the Nerd Queens, or, you know, Ping Pong Flicks, your interview with Zach, you know, and I think have you kind of noticed kind of like this, just that flip of the narrative where it was for a movie, now it's kind of something bigger now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me it changed quite early on in terms of just wanting a movie. And yeah, at the beginning I also just wanted, because you don't really hear too much about what Zach wants early on, right? Because he was pretty quiet. You know, he teased things and stuff like that. And I think maybe around when we got closer to the well, you know, even before that, I think when they started doing the AFSP thing, I think Zach himself started doing that suicide awareness. You know, a lot of people, including, you know, the people that talk to him the most, they started, you know, this is more than just a movie, right? I mean, even Fiona even said that, like, this has become a symbol for different things. And
shout out to Fiona.
Okay, right? And it's okay for, you know, people to say, okay, I just wanted the movie and I'll help fight for it. That's fine, because at least you're a voice added to the whole thing. But it was always important, like, to Zach, that, like he said, a lot of this, you know, yeah, he loves making the movie and he wants to give us that thing. But definitely, like, for him, it was all about the suicide awareness, how much we've made in you know, together with that. And I think that even gave a little bit of more positivity and something important that is connected to the movie. While, you know, other people like I don't see Game of Thrones getting awareness for, you know, right? They want their season 8, but it's not attached to me, you know. So a lot of that dies down, and I think this really held on is because of the importance of it, how much it meant to even the cast and crew for getting their credit, their due. And also, you know, because of unfortunate Autumn's passing, and how that accompanied with the American Suicide Prevention, it just all that together, and just the constant noise, you don't ever stop, and it actually made it such a big deal. And to even, like, to your point, it even got Sean O'Connell to take notice. He's like, something is, you know, for him. I thought that even when he took notice, I thought that was a big deal. I mean, like, it's got to come out of our circle in some fashion. It's got to get outside. And you took notice too when you saw that. So it's like, oh, right, that's good that it's reaching out beyond our boundaries, and there are other people out here who wasn't from the beginning. You don't have to be from the beginning.
Right, right.
Just literally signed on like 2 days before the announcement, and you'd still get included, because
Yeah,
you
exactly.
were part of that voice. And so that I appreciate that. Definitely, that's really cool, and I'm really happy to see there's this much amount of people that clamored for it. And 3 years, man. When you said 3 years, I'm like, has it been 3 years?
Ain't that crazy?
Seriously. I literally lost my hair over this thing.
But you're like more sage now, because you're a little hyper guy 3 years ago.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more sane now. A little bit more. Nah. I'm still going like that, but
but that's pretty awesome. And like you said, I mean, I think that's a good point. Is that no matter when you took notice, of this movement, the fact that you're supporting it, you're another voice to the movement. Everybody matters, and I think that's what Us United was about. Was that messaging? That hey, everyone can take part, and it's about, again, the ultimate goal is that awareness behind it, that AFSP, that actually helping people, was really the main thing of it. So, I mean, very awesome to see that. And
you got the loud voices up front, like us, we're just loud. And then you got the people who are on the, on their feet at the cons, and the people who brought together the plane and everything, the billboards. You got people in the background, like for the Faruqi brothers and the Squad Cast group, and it's just we came in all fronts, I gotta say, and I think it's a victory for all of us.
And that's awesome. I mean, and I saw your reaction video to the announcement, and I think it really. Now, this is just me personally. Again, I remember the guy from 3 years ago, right? So seeing you at the announcement, you were surprisingly calm. Like, did you kind of notice that yourself, that you just kind of just like,
well, yeah,
inevitability almost at that sense?
Yeah, well, I mean, I knew it was going to be announced. To be fair, but it's great to hear it like right there and be a part of that. So, like, when I initially knew that was going to be announced, I did my own private little crazy, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, but when it was actually officially announced, I thought that was like, I was on the brink of tears. I think, it just felt good. And just seeing in the chat how everybody is like screaming, and I could tell, like, I could hear, even though I can't hear, but I can hear people just screaming, and I'm just imagining around the world. I even had Film Gob on my right side.
Oh yeah,
I had a computer screen on the right side, and I had Film Gob up because he was doing a live one as well. And I saw his reaction. I looked over and saw his reaction. And I saw how the crazy people in his chat. I'm like, this is like around, and he's in Scotland. Like, this is like, and it just blew my mind. Like, we won, man. The whole world is celebrating, I think.
Yeah, that's the awesome thing. Like you said, it is worldwide, international. And the cool thing with that is that, I mean, I heard that it was going to be announced before that moment too, but watching it and how Zach was kind of playing it coy, was pretty cool. Like Jordan Reaver says here, he was disappointed thinking the announcement wasn't coming. Then he flips that camera, and you're like, okay, boom, like that's the confirmation for you, for all the haters and for everyone. It's
even though I knew, there was always that little bit of, wondering that it may not come, because you go through 3 years and every year is like a disappointment by Christmas. Like, you're like, it could happen at San Diego Comic-Con. It could happen at New York. Oh, it could happen. And there is so many of that to the point that you're like, yeah, right. Like, I was like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, well, is it? Yeah. It's like a little bit of not believing. So
right, it was a little down until it happened.
Yeah,
exactly. So it happened. We're here. We're at this day now where it's like, I always tell people we should be in celebration mode as a fandom every day, because like we're the first fandom that won. You know, you got people still fighting for the original Back to the Future cut. You know, that's probably never going to get it. You know, but I'm just saying, just an example, it's like these cuts don't come out like this. You know, and so we fought for it, and we're here. And so I always thought it was like poetic justice that you know, we saw Zack popping up on different streams, and you know, and I always heard like a distant question from someone like, when is Chris going to interview Zack Snyder, right? Like that was always like an underlining question. Whether you thought that or not, it's just that's just what I heard. And so you got the interview, you know, you got a chance to interview Zack Snyder. You know, just before I get your thoughts on that, I say that because it's really cool in this fandom. There's a lot of content creators, and you know, reach out to actors, you know, to cinematographers, but everyone wants that goal to interview Zack Snyder. You know what I mean? Like no shot against anyone else that people get interviewed. Like, man, I love Ray Porter. You know, Ray Fisher had like a wonderful interview at Justice Con, and I would love, you know, but Zack Snyder, like, how did that feel? Just
man, you know, honestly, I said this. I think I said this on Vodka Stream that I was like, I almost didn't go for it. And people are like, are you crazy? It's like, yeah, but you know what, I'm not like the interviewer type of guy, even though they said you are absolutely very good at interviewing. I'm like, I may look calm, but I'm screaming inside. Like
that guy from 3 years ago. You was like that guy from 3 years ago.
I like 3 years ago inside, and I'm like my hands are sweaty, and I'm the most nervous wreck. And then it's kind of funny when, you know, people like Justin at Midside, he was like, that was a really professional interview. I was like, are you sure? Because in my point of view, I'm like, I blew it. Like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, so at first I didn't quite want to do it, but you know, it was actually, I heard, and it's got to the, you know, those TPC guys, that you know, Zack wanted to come on my show, and he even mentioned that one day he wanted to come on my show. I'm like, oh, cool, but I never set a date or anything. And props to my wife. Okay, she said, "Did you ask Zack yet for the? Did you give him a date and time or something?" And I'm like, no, I didn't reach out. And she's like, you better reach out, or I'm gonna call him myself. And I'm like, okay, fine. You know. And so I just say, hey, Zack, I heard you wanted to come on my show. And he's like, yes, can I call you now? And I'm like, what's your number? I'm like, So I'm like, and so like, I'm like blown away, happy that he wanted to do that. And I'm happy to have, you know, I wanted to make it a donation. I told him I wanted to make it a donation show. Because I wanted to make it a charity, because I found out, you know, my wife said, you know, you can do this donation thing. You can have a donation link, and I think we're going to do that for the
Deck the Halls.
Thank you. Yeah, Nicotina. Deck the Halls of Justice. So we're going to do that. I told him how to do all that donation link, so hopefully we get that squared away. So I felt that was the more important thing for me, because and I knew I said, I probably can't, you probably can't spill anything. And he said, like, Chris, as we get closer and closer, I cannot say anything. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I said, you know, just draft me up some questions and I'll take a look at it. And I threw him a lot of questions, and I didn't know what to ask. I actually asked my members, what do you want me to ask? And I try to compile it together to something more, you know, better to read. And then he says, yeah, that's fine. And I'm like, really? But obviously he didn't answer it that precisely. But I thought that was kind of nice that he did that. And it's quite something. I was like, people keep thinking I reached out, or, you know, how do I get it? I was like, I don't know. And to me, you know, to you guys, I mean, honestly, Zack reached out. You know, it may look like he reached out, but he wanted to do that, and he has his own way of planning on who he wants to go on and things like
Mhm.
that. I think that's how I see it. So
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I'm not going to give out his number. You know, I'm sorry.
Right.
But it was a cool thing. Like I said, if that is the only,
There we go.
hey,
Krypton Kid.
Krypton Kid, oh, man,
I was waiting on you, buddy.
awesome. Like I said, even to him, like if you are like the only guy I'll ever interview celebrity wise, I can be happy with that.
Yeah.
I am totally set with that. I'm not looking for things like that. So I'm blessed. I think it closes a chapter in that part, and it's one of the single most things that I've ever wanted to do. So
yeah, it's that story. But I mean, if it was a story of your journey up to that point, like that was the book end right there.
Yeah,
you and Zach,
right.
And now you mentioned something important is that Zach kind of, it seems he's very strategic actually how he's jumping on these streams. And I know Real Anarchy had that article where it's like Zach is, I can't remember the exact term, but he was kind of bucking the system basically, where he's going straight to the fans. And like I said, that the trades have to watch your interview to get information about
that's
Zach.
weird. I mean, it's just weird being a source. Like I'm always grabbing for stuff, and they're like, I could talk about it, but I did.
Yeah, right, exactly. So it's pretty cool, kind of seeing how Zach is moving now, where he doesn't need these mainstream trades now. He is getting his message out there through the fandom. That's that shift that I was kind of talking about. Is that Zach? Someone told me, I think they're in the chat now, where the fandom kind of made Zach realize this was possible for his cut to come out. Like maybe Zach, Anthony, he said it. He was content, just like, hey, one day they may do a documentary, then I'll give him some footage,
Right.
So with the fandom kind of building up this hype, it made Zach believe in a sense. And now it's almost like he's like, I'm coming to y'all because, as a fandom, y'all were there. So very awesome. Now, the one quote that I remember that some people were grabbing from your interview was the sequel to Zack Snyder's Justice League. Because I'll say this, like after that Man of Steel watch party, we got the announcement. I jumped up like it was a sporting event, and it took me about a day to realize, like, if we're getting the first movie, it's a whole arc, right?
Yeah, right.
So you asked that question in your interview. Follow-up.
That was always on my mind, and I think even when I interviewed Sean O'Connell, one of those, I forgot when, but a long time before, I think when he was just starting to write the book or something. And he even asked, like, would you, Chris, be like upset, or would you be happy if that was it, right? And I'm like, I'd be happy that he got to do part one, but I'm not gonna lie, as a fan, as a nerd, and I want to see the whole fucking thing,
Yes,
but
please do.
So I would want to see it somehow, because we're at the art center, and if you went to the art center, they had that Batman v Superman, the director's cut, where he talked about everything, and he bought and he just blew everyone away with what was supposed to happen. I was there, and
right.
It may sound loud on the YouTube screen or something, but man, those seats were shaking from left and right, audible, like, no, like, and we were cursing, and we were like, fuck WB, so we were like, and it was such energy, like everybody, an audible roar, and so after that, we're like, we could have got something incredible, right? And so that did cross my mind. I'm like, are we gonna get more? Because we just get a little bit more, like, is that possible? So, and I know he can't really say, so I tried to make the question to a form that could possibly kind of hint at, but he was really good at.
So it wasn't on the list. That question wasn't on the list, was it?
That was written.
You to ask.
It was in a certain fashion, but I reworded it in on the fly to maybe try to coerce him in a little. Yeah, I'm gonna try. I did. I tried.
Right. We appreciate
but
it.
I knew he was gonna be holding back a little bit, but I think he kind of insinuated that in a way, if Justice League 1 was supposed to end like how Justice League Part 1 was supposed to end, then you're definitely teasing Part 2.
Yeah.
So that's just, to me, it just seems like that would be the direction that you intend to go if it happens. Like if it could happen, yeah.
I mean, that's why you see that hashtag restore the Snyderverse on Twitter is because it was more than just this one movie. So I mean, I will say just with my guys with Geekosity and I got a few friends in entertainment news sites, and just a rumor is obviously they want the Snyder Cut to come out first and carry over that hype, right? But I was told, really, every time I ask about it, they're like, AT&T knows, Warner Media knows, and Jason Kilar knows when the Snyder Cut comes out, when Zack Snyder Justice League comes out, they're ready for us to ask for a sequel. Okay. Yeah. So they're ready. They're ready for that because it's going to be inevitable when that first episode comes out. And social media is going to go crazy. Like if they drop it like a Mandalorian type style, first thing in the morning we're all going to watch Zack Snyder Justice League somehow. I'm gonna be on my phone at work watching it, So,
as it was intended.
So we're going to be ready for more. So just the latest I heard with that is that they're ready, and it wasn't like more of like, oh, they're bracing for it. They're like, no, they know that we're going to ask for more, So
I mean, Shiraz Faruqi, he wrote that article for Forbes where they were talking about how they usually won't spend that much, like putting 70 million is something that's already pretty much done. That to him spells out that they're investing into more. And I saw that with that article. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I think they are, but I don't want to get my hopes up at the same time. And it does, like, I don't want us to be comfortable. I don't think we are. I think we're definitely going to go right in once that thing hits. We're going to watch it.
Not pirate it. No one pirate it. Just let's get those numbers.
Yeah.
Subscribe if you can. If there's physical media, support that. That's what Warner Media is looking for. They see this buzz. They love it on social media, and they just want to see it carry over to results. Because I remind people, they have shareholders too. Yes, it was an investment, $70 million, but they gotta show the shareholders, okay, we got this much subscribers after this drop. So let's put more money. Like, you will give us the blessing to put more money into this. Yeah. So that's all they're doing. They're just, waiting for the inevitable, I think.
Right. And now they got more subscribers from when they announced all 17 films of 2021 are going straight to HBO Max, at least for 30 days. But still, that's as much as like a movie pass, right?
Exactly. I mean, really, that Wonder Woman 84 announcement, I think, really went very well. That dual release announcement, Jason Kilar put that out, and the response to that was overly positive. I think they gave them more confidence to do the entire slate. Because they're like, okay, looking at the world conditions, you got to, as far as the U.S., a lot of people aren't going to be showing up to the movies for the next 6 months, So you're getting into 2021. Now you're messing with franchises like Dune and Godzilla. And so it's like, I understood why they didn't made that choice for the U.S. Because international, you still can go to the theater if it's open. You still can go to the theaters.
Right.
So it was very smart, and they see the writing on the wall that this is the subscription game. It's time to build up that library on HBO Max, and it was a wonderful choice. But I just tell people, like, they're AT&T, Warner Media, they're ready for us to ask for more. So let's just show out and put those numbers where it needs to be for the Snyder Cut, the Zack Snyder Justice League. So because I think we're going to get more. Now, speaking of more, there's these other projects. You saw the Deathstroke quotes, Joe Manganiello. What'd you think about that? It was pretty. It used to be a time, I would say, before we got the announcement, you would hear something new, it'll be like a gut punch, like, oh, like we could have had that, But he's talking about, I guess it was a script for Deathstroke. What do you think about that information?
Well, he had his own standalone, I think, that he was going to do with Gavin O'Connor. But he referred to also the one that Ben Affleck's Batman. And I would like to quote Kevin Smith, why would you cut that out?
Some nicotine.
Yeah, why would they cut that out? I don't know. That's just like, it just blows my mind. I mean, remember reading that. I was actually at the mall walking, and I'm reading. I'm like, damn, that would have been good. That would have been hot. That would have been sweet to get that. I like the game. Michael Douglas game. That's an awesome movie. That's a great thriller. And to combine that with Batman, that'd be pretty sweet. Man. And for a little bit, I was like, why is he talking about that? Like, usually he didn't talk about that. He's not referred to it at all. He didn't want to say anything, but I don't know what happened. And all of a sudden, he's just kind of spilled the beans on what it was going to be about. And then for a little bit, I was kind of like, is it not going to happen? Is that why he's saying that? Or is this just trying to hype it up so that people,
Yeah, it's hard to gauge that. I mean, and again, when you're dealing with speculation and rumors and things like that, before it's confirmed, I always say on my channel, it's all speculation until it's confirmed. But I'm always reassured when I ask about the Batfleck project that it is a real thing. But again, it's about getting Zack Snyder's Justice League out first. Let's get that out first, perform. Then you're talking about Air Cut, then Batfleck and Cyborg series or project. So it's just one thing at a time, like AT&T tweeted out before, is that let's get this out first, then we can show our shareholders how passionate y'all are, and then it's I think the floodgates are going to open. I really do believe that. So it's going to be wonderful to see how this comes together. Appreciate Nicotine reminding people to smash that like button, if only just for Chris Wong-Swenson, but for my channel as well. Subscribe if you're not, and make sure the notification bell is clicked.
Yeah.
So,
interesting you said that opens the floodgates. I was always, when I talked to Zach, I was always under the impression that like Warner Brothers themselves, all the different directors, they're going to do their own thing, right? And he's like, my continuity is Man of Steel, BVS, Justice League Art. And at that point, I was kind of like, okay, so disregard everything else as a continuity. But Patty Jenkins' comments really perked my interest when she said that, in a way, she's trying to say that Justice League is not canon.
Yeah.
So if Justice League is not canon, then what do you consider as canon? So if you're telling me you're waiting for Zack Snyder's Justice League to be canon, then there is kind of a little bit more hope for connected tissue.
Yeah.
More so than we thought.
I mean, just look at what we had so far. Like that's a great point that Patty said. Jason Momoa says the Snyder Cut at that time connected more to the start of his Aquaman film. You have like I said, Patty Jenkins saying that Justice League, that's not even her Wonder Woman, basically, is what she said.
Right.
Even for Wonder Woman 84, because I know people, they're unsure, is that Zack's Wonder Woman still? She's saying, hey, that's Justice League. That wasn't even those are reshoots.
Yeah.
Right. So now what can, if we put on our, I know you don't do the tinfoil hat anymore, but it's like what? Okay. But it's like what
signature on
now it's like Justice League. Okay, if we're just looking at it, it exists. It's still on HBO Max, right? What can make that become not canon, and we kind of reinsert Zack's arc going forward? the Flash movie, right?
Mm,
The Flash.
Good.
I mean, just in theory,
Right.
that can literally kind of just correct course.
Unless it's already
You know.
connected somehow.
Yeah, well,
Unless,
yeah,
yeah, unless it's like you said, like Aquaman could definitely sort of connect to that. You know, there are some creative liberties involving talking in water and certain costume designs and stuff like that. But for the most part, I guess in a story, if you just take it out as a story, it could still connect in some fashion because I think the only thing they talked about Justice League was Steppenwolf. I mean, that was the only time he says, you know, you guys you helped take out Steppenwolf. And that was it. That was like, that's the only reference that you even got. But, and, you know, Wonder Woman, the first one, of course, was part of that thing. You know, I don't know what Birds of Prey is at. I'm not sure. But it's that's a questionable one.
multiverse.
Right. And then, that's why one of the curious things I'm thinking about Wonder Woman 1984 is how that's going to end. Like I you know, it's cool to watch the movie, but the one thing I want to know is how is that going to end? Because if it sounds like she's definitely, you know, she said she was going to make her a movie, but she wanted to have that continuity with Zack's, you know, efforts. It almost sounds like, in a way, we're going to get to, you know, it's still going to connect to BVS somehow.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, with her saying that, like I said, that was these comments by Patty Jenkins, I think, did multiple things. I mean, you know, it kind of calmed down a lot of people who were tempering, you know, their feelings towards Wonder Woman 84. I mean, yes, like Patty Jenkins said, she has her own style. You know, it is true. That's not necessarily Zack's Wonder Woman, but you have an idea of what her Wonder Woman is off of part one. So I don't think she's going to stray totally, you know, off and, you know, go, you know, Jeff Johns with it, basically. So that kind of calmed people down. And then again, that Justice League, it really shed the light that all these other directors, they don't consider it canon. That's just my conclusion for that. So looking forward to that. And like I said, you know, Wonder Woman, at least for the US, will be on HBO Max Christmas Day. So we get to see that. And yeah,
that's another point you got there, is that they're all on HBO Max now. There is no like, this is the movie theatrical version, this is the HBO Max universe. If they continue this split up HBO Max theatrical, it's literally the same. You know, it would be, you could call it the same universe. It's not like it's like, for instance, the CW is, you know, that universe is on CW.
Right.
Titans is on, now it's on HBO Max, but before that it was on the DC universe, you know.
Exactly.
And so you could like, okay, well, that's that medium, so that's one universe. That's another medium. And at first, before this whole thing about splitting the movies between you know, having it go on HBO Max simultaneously as theatrical, you could argue that that's your own universe. Theatrical is your own universe, HBO Max is your own universe. But now if they continue this route, that's one universe.
Yes. I mean, that continuity, yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's very interesting to see. And like I said, I'm just looking forward to, I think Grace Randolph teased, or someone on Twitter was talking about a post-credit scenes for Wonder Woman 84, you know, something that I kind of don't want to spoil for myself, but you know, it's possibly tying into, again, Zack's arc. I'll just say that. But I don't have full confirmation, you know, what it is. Because I wouldn't tell you if I did anyway. But so looking forward to how that ties together. But and then now, you know, we touched on the whole HBO Max, you know, dual release. There's been a lot of uproar. You know, Christopher Nolan. I see people commenting on Christopher Nolan in the chat here. I'm not gonna go full on into that, but just, I guess, what are your thoughts as far as just, I guess, the concerns some of the directors had with, you know, movies going to streaming, and it just US only?
Like,
what's your thoughts?
For me, you know, it's, I'm a businessman. I have my own company and stuff like that. So sometimes you always got to look out for your own company. And I think Warner Brothers did exactly that. And I think they did it fairly. They could have just said it's going to be on HBO Max, nothing in theaters. But no, they didn't push away that. They said they offered a library for theaters so the exhibitors could show something, because that was their problem. They didn't have anything to show. I think Disney was pushing everything back. All the Marvel movies are pushed back. And so they're literally waiting for library. At the same time, Warner Brothers knew that not all the theaters are open and not everybody's going to watch the theater, with vaccine or not. People may instinctively not feel safe, even regardless if it was part of the coronavirus problem or not. They just instinctively don't feel safe in an enclosed space with lots of people.
Right.
So I think they made the best decision that they could have made, not giving up, but like offering the same slate of films at the exact times and dates they were supposed to come out to the theaters. But they gotta give me, like, I gotta put it on our side just to make sure that it makes the full potential it could possibly make. And I'm not familiar enough, educated enough to know all the back end deals these actresses get and their full potential of the box office. I have no idea about that, but just looking at it as an outsider, as a business, and during the pandemic, I think it was a smart decision. And it's kind of refreshing to see someone like Jason Kilar say this is for the fans, which ultimately it should always have been for the consumers. As a business, you always try to appease the consumer because they're the ones that are going to buy into you. They're going to ones that are going to invest into you. So, so I see it as a win. It's not going to be a win for everybody. Obviously, the directors and stuff like that. It's all about money. They want their full potential money. That's what it's all about.
That's all.
Because if you want people to see your art, they can't see your art. They can't see your art in theaters. They can't see your art on HBO Max. Regardless, it really doesn't matter what form. Obviously they probably want you watching it in the theater because they work so hard.
The full potential of it,
the apex of it. I get that, but it's the
pandemic.
world.
It's the world conditions. And again, it's like I remind people, they only said just for 2021. I think Amy Pascal reiterated that they're going to kind of look at the data at the end of 2021 and decide for 2022.
And Sarnoff.
And Sarnoff. Okay. Pascal. I'm thinking of Sony. So
outside there.
Man, that would be interesting. Spider-Man streaming, but no. So
at the same time as Flash. No.
They're looking at the same movie, right? No.
Yeah. It's the same movie. That's why Barry Allen's gonna show up in the Flash. It's like, this is a weird multiverse.
I'm like, what is that? But looking at the data you brought up, as far as just what the data is, as far as, and again, this is just the United States. International, if theaters are open, the movie is going to be out. And in the US, if the local theaters are open, you can see it in the theaters. But they did a poll, Warner Media, and I think Grace Randolph looked at the same poll, survey. 70% of the people in the United States do not plan on going to the movies within the next month. That's when they looked at, okay, we can't release Wonder Woman 84 in the theaters if 70% of a country is not going to go to the movies. On top of that, 50% do not plan on going to the theaters in the next 6 months. Because again, they're waiting for the vaccine, right? So even when that comes out, it's still going to be wishy-washy even to 2021. And then the last number, which I thought was mind-boggling, it was like 15% in the United States, only 15% have been to the theaters since the shutdowns. Which is crazy. Like, and I thought about it. I was like, the only movie I went to this year was Tenet. Me too.
And that was a private screening. My friend worked in the theater, and it was like I was the only one there.
So it's like, man, I think when I went there, it was only like 4 people in the theater. So obviously, it wasn't a big turnout. And so Warner Media took those numbers of Tenet. I think that's what Christopher Nolan's kind of upset about is that, it made like 350, worldwide, million, give or take. I'm just kind of rounding it. But so it made 350. Warner Brothers was like, well, okay, since we know it's a pandemic, so we're going to just kind of pretend you made 50% of what the box office run would be, which would put it at 700. Nice round number, 700. Christopher Nolan got a bonus based off, hey, you would have hit 700.
Yeah.
Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot got a back end deal. They were basically saying, Wonder Woman 84, that could be $1 billion film. So they paid them accordingly a $10 million check to Patty Jenkins for a movie. Now, do I think Wonder Woman 84 is $1 billion movie? I don't. I just personally, I don't know. The first one made what, 800?
Yeah.
The first one they made 800. Yeah. So I can kind of see like it's money motivated.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan's looking at a check like, man, like I'm Christopher Nolan. Right. And you're giving her $1 billion, money or bonus based off that. So, but then if you look at Christopher Nolan, what the $1 billion movies he's done was Batman, right? Dark Knight Rises. Yeah. Going down the list, his next moneymaker was Inception. Mm-hmm. Do we think Tenet was going to make 850? I don't
know.
Like I said, I don't know. It's like who knows? Under that was Interstellar, which is like 775. So it's like they thought it was in that range.
Yeah.
Right. They thought it was in that range because Dunkirk, which was critically acclaimed, didn't even hit 600. So it's like they're looking at Nolan like, well, your films ain't really pulling $1 billion every time, buddy. Like, we'll give it 700.
Movie.
Let's use Batman. Yeah. So
they're like, what the hell is this movie?
So that's the saltiness, that Christopher Nolan. It comes down to money. And Patty Jenkins, they saw this as a catalyst. They wanted her to kind of be a spokesman for this dual release. So she got a little extra for that, obviously.
Yeah, and I don't think she even knew they were going to do that, Tony, because when they did the deal, it was just her. It was just Wonder Woman 1984, and that was it. And so I don't know what she would reacted if she would, it was like, okay, it's all 2021, but it seemed like she was like, oh, okay, well, I got my money.
I think Gal Gadot got 10 million too. With
like all the reps for all the other actors are trying to get some money now, and it's hard to cough up for 17 films right now. I mean, can we wait till the end of the year?
and see, that's the thing is like if they do that, let's say if they do that 50% approach, do you really think these films are going to hit 350 at a time in the United States where people are still kind of worried about the vaccine and it may not even hit Tenet numbers, I think people were just ready to go to the movies. That's why I went to go see Tenet. I was like, I just want to get out there and just see a movie.
It was a blockbuster film. Yeah.
Are people going to keep doing that? So like I said, the business side, like you said, you look at it from the business side, that's smart from Warner Media because you're going to take a loss in the theaters. Yeah. So now let's drive up subscriptions on this end, Now I did hear, and I think Grace said this as well, is that they're working out deals like streaming deals for, these other projects.
Yeah.
They won't get Patty Jenkins money, but but we will see.
Keeping that.
we will see. So very interesting to see. Like I love looking at how the box office comes together, and things have changed. We got La Hoguera de Gotham, or Gotham Bonfire, as I should say. Big greetings to you as well, my guy there. So like I said, we're just waiting for, like I said, when Zack Snyder's Justice League comes out, what comes from that. Now, just a slight shift to before we hit the hour mark. So we're going to kind of quickly shift because we know more than DC. People can take us just Snyder fans. We just talk about DC, but this Daredevil news that came out today, I think got people excited. I mean, at least for myself. Now, I guess technically. It wasn't confirmed yet, but enough scoopers and kind of second-rate trades and people are kind of coming out about it. Just what's your thoughts of that? If you believe it's really happening with Charlie Cox coming back?
I think that'd be great. He is I love Daredevil, all 3 seasons. I probably like it a lot more than some of the Marvel movies. It's just it's probably the best out of all the Netflix Marvel. I would like to say it is the best. I'd say
it is the best. Yeah.
But I definitely would love that if he came back, and I think that'd be awesome. I always like when these guys get second chances at things. Especially. And it's not their fault. I mean, if there was none of that Fox, all that Marvel Disney thing going on, he would have had a 4th season, I would think. But there things happen, and they get all Disney-fied and stuff. But I think if they wanted to pluck Daredevil and they wanted to use a Daredevil, he's perfect. Perfect. Like definitely with the multiverse strategy, it's easier to explain. I mean, I even thought he was part of the Avengers universe anyway.
Yeah, right? It's like they loosely. It was some shenanigans in the background. They couldn't really directly say the name of the Avengers,
right?
But they could allude to it,
right?
So
they're always like, "Oh, you mean the guy with the shield or the green guy?" And it's like, say it. It's so weird.
Same label, right?
It happened to DC too. It's like, oh, the guy in Gotham. You mean Batman?
It's like Batman. We know what you're talking about. So that that's funny just to see. And I mean, like I said, I was a huge fan, like you said, of Daredevil and Charlie Cox, specifically. Now people thought like Kevin Feige wanted to kind of just do his whole own iterations of all these different characters. Like we knew the rights was coming back, to Marvel from Netflix. That's why they canceled them, at that time on Netflix. And then people had the impression that, he's not going to reuse anything. Kevin Feige's a control freak. But then you start hearing Jamie Foxx coming back for the Spider-Man 3. Well, I don't know how big that role would be. The guy that does Doc Ock,
Alfred Molina,
he's confirmed as coming back. So it's like you're kind of seeing these stepping stones. Like, okay, if you're bringing back Andrew Garfield's enemy and Tobey Maguire's enemy,
you gotta get the Spider-Man.
It's like you're kind of doing it. You're not fooling.
Saying it's the Spider-Man. It's gonna be multiple Spider-Man,
multiverse, Spideyverse, and so to the fact that he will reuse those iterations, they're probably slightly different, because they think they both died in their films, so you kind of have to, multiverse, timey-wimey. You could see him, again bringing Charlie Cox and kind of just, probably do a little twist to it, but just the same actor.
I'm excited how it's all gonna fit in, but definitely, they could probably make it. I mean, it would be bonkers and crazy, but you know what? I'm like, I always talk about, everybody keeps saying is, why is there so many characters? How are you gonna use screen time and stuff? You open up a comic book. There's multiple characters all the time. Like there's literally like Punisher just come in for a few pages. That's all you need from him. It's as long as the focus is really the streamline, like the focus is the story on the main character going through that journey. It makes sense. And
I mean, just think Endgame. I mean, we've seen it done already. We've seen
right. We know Charlie Cox is Daredevil. He already has seasons of origin story.
Exactly. We want the flashback and don't need no story to that. So so it's like, I mean, they literally can do
Deadpool thing true. Someone said that. I briefly looked at the timeline and that Deadpool was supposed to be in there too. I'm like, what?
Well, I heard he was supposed to be in the Doctor Strange. So I mean, that would be cool. If they kind of, if they do like a little montage and show all the different worlds, and then you see Ryan Reynolds, cashing his check that he got. But I mean, it's possible to fit all these people in. Like I said, with Endgame, you had your main story, main core. After they, killed everyone in Infinity War, so it can be done, and you get to the third act, and just like break loose everyone for your money shots. So very possible. I think the Flash movie gonna be pretty similar. The debate will rage. Who did it first? With multiverse.
No. It's gonna be that where it's like, hey, they're copying Spider-Man 3. Wait, Spider-Man 3 comes out first. I think it is. Yeah.
Yes, because they're shooting it now, and the Flash won't go into production until like March, I think, or April. So they're gonna beat them as far as releasing it. Though Flash was supposed to come out first.
Right. So it's already gonna be like those. You know it's gonna happen. Like they're just copying Marvel.
Oh man!
But whatever. The fans win.
Exactly.
I'm
a fan of the genre, so it's like as long as it's well put together.
I'm gonna go nuts if I see Tobey Maguire back in the suit. I'm not gonna. That was my Spider-Man, man. I love Tobey Maguire. I even love Spider-Man 3. Honestly, everybody puts crap on that, but I enjoyed that one. And so it's like it would be nuts. I'd go nuts watching that.
Oh man, I tell you, like you say, Tobey Maguire. that was Spider-Man, and to see them. Oh yeah. So Lagora de Gotham here. And as we wind this down too, if there's any last minute questions that y'all want to throw in, we're going to kind of wind this out. But this here, I guess Grace had a tweet earlier. About an announcement or and so you spread it that too now, but so
wondering what
I didn't hear anything, and actually let me see, I reached out to some people, so I'm actually double check. I was
just throwing out there, I was like Erica or Batfleck maybe, because I'm like everything's got to be DC for me, so I'm going to take advantage. It could be Harry Potter's Christmas holiday special. For all we
know. Another Star Wars special, Christmas special. That's what's going.
Oh yeah, it's Warner Brothers, so it's got to be.
Oh, Warner Brothers. Okay, yeah, Warner Brothers.
That's why I went with the Harry Potter.
But see, I'm double checking because I actually asked some people about, I was like, hey, what Grace is talking about here. I didn't get any word back. I'm kind of checking my sources here.
Dave keeps mentioning like maybe Santa will come with air cut announcement, and he does things because he does know some things. That's why you gotta listen to his streams. He doesn't put it as a headline. Dave, if you're watching, I don't know if you are, but he doesn't put it as a headline. He'll just sneak it in, and he makes a face, and I'm like, So I'm like, so that's why I put Eric up there, but I don't know. Idea, but I'm just like it. That'd be cool, though. I mean, can you imagine if like Wonder Woman 1984 comes out and there's like a trailer at the beginning or even at the end of that, just to like, this is the next thing, that would be a great opportune time to boost the next DC movie.
I'm going to hold to just what I hear, and all indications is that we're not going to hear anything until Zack Snyder's Justice League comes out. But hey, I will take a Christmas announcement. But so far, I have not corroborated Grace's story with that. So
I have no idea. Like, she just dropped that, but she's not always right. I think she's got things wrong and right. In terms of. But.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Grace. Like, I always joke about different stuff with her, but like with the Thomas Wayne story, like I'll forever joke about that, where she was like, Michael Keaton is not Bruce Wayne, he's Thomas Wayne. I was like, whoa.
Oh yeah. See, that's one of those.
That was rough right there.
Hit and miss. Yeah.
Exactly, Akbar. So right now, I have no idea what the announcement, if there is an announcement, we'll see. But tomorrow, people are looking at this little shareholder Disney meeting that people are talking about, and a lot of people are kind of saying that that's why Jason Kilar kind of pushed that slate announcement, because maybe Disney.
They gonna do that?
I don't know. I mean, I can see something about they're going to announce some Star Wars related stuff tomorrow. Because again, these you're familiar with the shareholders meetings, right? Like where they have to get them hype, about what's coming up. So they got to tell them for real, hey, this is what we're planning.
It's so like one sentence plainly, and we got this. Like, why? There's no presentation. They're like, by the way, we got this and this. And
this will make money. This will make money.
Crazy to us. Like we go over like one sentence and like we blow our minds.
Yeah. So it's gonna be real information coming out, though. Definitely, it'll probably be very bland, but as far as how they say it, but it will be like definite. Like, hey, this is I mean, obviously they're going to greenlight Mandalorian season 3. I know that's one of the things I think they're going to talk about. So that's one thing. But as far as like new stuff, people are expecting Disney Plus to do a dual release type thing as well.
I figure they're going to copy Wonder Woman 1984. I think Black Widow is going to do a dual release.
They have to, but the question is, are they going to keep like the whole premium gate like Mulan? Which didn't really go over well.
It went free the other day.
I just waited.
Because Soul, Pixar's Soul is dual release, and it's also free. Not free, but like on Disney Plus.
So that's going to be on Christmas Day. Yeah. So that's what I mean. That's what I'm going to do Christmas Day. I'm going to, I'm going to wake up, have my breakfast. I'm going to watch Wonder Woman 84. Then I'm going to go ahead and watch Soul. Just because, and then whatever this announcement, is
you never know. I mean, I think maybe they were on the brink of something, but when Warner Brothers and Warner Media did that, they got to follow competition. They're like, we can't be out 2021. We got to do something for 2021.
Yeah, that's it. That's going to be the intriguing thing tomorrow. Because like I said, I think Warner Media caught wind of something that Disney was going to do for 2021, or even with Black Widow. And they announced Wonder Woman 84. Then they were like, no, let's get the jump on this. Now, is that going to make Disney? I like to point you, because at first I thought Disney would look at the backlash and kind of be like, we was going to do it. Now we're probably, but now you're saying they have to keep up now.
They got to keep up, because if there's like, people are signing up for HBO Max like crazy. It's like, well, we got to do something about our app. All these businesses, whether they like to work with people or not, the companies always think about the number one, and the number one is themselves. They got to think about themselves more than exhibitors and things like that. If they truly, really cared for exhibitors, they would have threw out these movies on the theaters already to save them, but they didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So
emphasize that they're going to put a lot more emphasis into Disney Plus. But you got a question?
Yeah, we got James Lex here. Shout out to you, James. Okay, he's talking about with Grace. Want to have a mind blown. The Batman, Fantastic Beasts. There's no accident. Okay, yeah. So I think Warner Media basically telegraphed this 2021 slate announcement. Because I don't think Matt Reeves is going to have his film go straight to streaming. So I think they did push back, a Batman movie, Fantastic Beasts, because they're anticipating, and that should calm down the detractors a little bit too. Is like Warner Media is maybe only going to do this for a year,
I feel like with anything that is successful, they're not going to stop doing it. So if 2021 is successful and they've increased to however much they expected they wanted to increase, the Batman could be part of that. And, Warner Bros. Own distribution rights on that. They can't tell them what to do. Like, they want to release it out, they can release it out. I mean, look at Legendary. They had 75% into that, but but Warner Brothers is the distributor, 25%, and they did it anyway.
Yeah. And that's the thing at Warner Media, like you had these directors upset. They didn't have to ask the director's permission, to release these films. They just looked at the numbers and they're like, oh, we're just going to do it. We'll work out something with you after the fact, but it's our call, and if they, in general, if they wanted to, they can do the same thing 2022. And they just got to kind of
the vaccine is wonderful and everybody is feeling safe again. We're back to 18, it all depends on that, really.
Yeah, that's going to be the determining factor. Let's see, we're running up the questions here or comments. The Batman moved because of filming delays. Yeah. Well, I mean, they moved that, but then they moved, like I said, Fantastic Beasts. They took Black Adam off the release date.
Yeah, they pushed everything.
They pushed everything, but they kept certain movies in 2021, and just so happens they're releasing that whole slate on HBO Max in the U.S. So hey, we'll see how it goes. I'm going to be watching everything.
The production, the actual production starts and arranging all that. Because of COVID, they had to push back production as well. It's not like they're making it now. And they finished it now. The Black Adam was pushed back. The production, so they can't release it this year.
It's nothing. They can't. It just got like concept art at this point for Black Adam. That's it. Malik here says, among the movie slates, any of you heard anything about Mortal Kombat? Chris, have you heard anything?
There's supposed to be Mortal Kombat news today. Didn't someone drop that there was gonna be something today?
I saw a picture. I think we're supposed to get like a trailer this week. Because it's supposed to come out next month, I believe, right? I believe.
But it is definitely one of the films coming out for 2021. It's on the slate.
Yeah. And like really all I know about that, just general information, but it's supposed to be a good invention of that license, and you got Louis Tan. I'm a fan of his acrobatic work in Iron Fist. He was in that series for a brief moment, in other films. So I mean, Mortal Kombat, I'm going to watch it. I got HBO Max, so I'm going to watch it. So, Garrett Day Gotham says it seems that tomorrow Disney's going to announce things. Warner after CCXP should announce something. So CCXP, I thought I was going to get through the stream without mentioning CCXP.
It is so. I went through 5.5 hours of people were watching me eat lunch, and that was amusing.
Oh, you were streaming during it?
I did a whole freaking mukbang on my on that stream, and they're like, "Chris, that is more interesting than what is playing right now on your stream," and I'm like, "Oh my god."
Oh man, like I thought Comic-Con at home was nerve-wracking. CCXP was I literally went to sleep in the middle of it. Like the saving grace is that I had CCXP like on my laptop, but then I had football on TV, it was a Sunday. So so I was able to get through it, I think, because I had football going on, American football. So that was I don't have much to say about CCXP.
I commend those who stayed on. Like I said I was gonna do it, and I just stuck on. I should have been like Phil Gobb and left, but like
like Anthony said, the food looked good at least.
And someone else who was streaming and they quit too or something. And I was like, nah, I said I was going to do it and I'm going to do it. All my kids were gone and they're all, I said I was going to be here for 6 hours.
It was pretty bad. I mean, when you got Anthony remembering your food over, it was pretty bad if that's what he remembered.
Man.
So Jessica said she went through the whole 6 hours. The Primal, that animated, that was pretty cool. And that is, if you have HBO Max viewers out there, that's on HBO Max if you like what you saw with Primal. So that was pretty cool. Barcelona didn't watch CCXP at all. So
oh, good. You didn't waste your time.
very good. Yeah. So everyone, y'all were smart. Yeah, like Barcelona said, Justice Con. Yeah, Justice Con was much better. Oh my goodness, like it's not even I mean, and that's even like more props to the Nerd Queens and Wonder Meg putting that together. They literally did better than like a corporate, like international extravaganza.
Right.
Like Justice Con was definitely better, and some people argue, as good as DC fandom. I mean, so that shows as much respect to what they did, and man, like CCXP,
I mean, like the format was cool, because it was like DC fandom in a way.
But some of the same footage.
Yeah, it's just the content,
right.
was quite up to par. And I get it because WarnerMedia has a ton of stuff, but really, man, that it's almost like they didn't want to release a schedule because they knew nobody was going to watch it.
Oh my goodness. Well, see, the funny thing is that I saw a schedule, like I saw like an actual list of things after the fact. I was like, if I would have saw the actual list, what they were planning, I would have skipped it. But this to get comic book Craig. So every time they don't show anything, eat a sandwich. That would have been a good. That would have been a good game
the entire time. It would have been
taking a train, eat a sandwich. We got a Neil in the house. Yeah, like Jessica said, Justice Con, blew it. It's not even debatable. That was pretty terrible.
Close, man.
And then they re-showed the Pennyworth panel from DC fandom. It's like, what are you doing? Like,
one of the best ones was Andy Muschietti, The Flash. He's like, we're gonna do something different, and that's it.
Yes, he was I think that upset me more than anything because I was like, "Oh, this is a new clip of Andy Muschietti." I was like, he was like, "What's up, Brazil? We're gonna do something different." And I was like, That's it, bro. Like, I would have took the DC fandom footage at that point. Like, just show
that would have been better.
So I was like, wow, like they trolled us for 6 hours, man. I can't believe they got away with that. Like, I can't let them get away with that.
The crazy thing is, they had a Wonder Woman 84 trailer, right?
Yeah.
It's mostly same footage with a nice somber music, and then look at what MTV Music Awards, Movie Awards, did right after, showing a full blown clip,
actual clip,
on that other.
It's like your CCXP, like this is Comic-Con of Brazil, and they couldn't
no exclusives.
Oh, goodness,
no exclusive.
That was just upsetting, I think, for everyone. but yeah, that sums that up. But so Chris, we're gonna wind this down. I appreciate you being here, and we definitely have to do this again.
That was
really
fun.
soon.
I enjoyed it.
Definitely. Any to say anything coming up for you? I think everyone knows your schedule probably, but just anything you want to kind of shout out or something you're planning coming up here?
No, not too much. Happy holidays, and it's been an incredible, weird year of ups and downs. But I think we can finally say that Zack Snyder's Justice League is coming out next year.
Hey, there we go.
We can finally say that in a few months, even So
that's crazy. And like I said, anytime we think about that, it's like I always think about that Chris Wong-Swenson from 3 years ago who was just chomping at the bit, and it's like now it's like you're just content and just we're getting it, So
that's 3 years of people calling you crazy. Like literally, even my own local friends, they were like, doesn't exist. And I'm like, nope, I'm gonna keep saying that. I'm gonna keep drumming that drum until it happens, and it finally happened.
Yeah, definitely. We got it. So shout out to everyone that had a part. Like Chris says, whatever you did to help the movement, you are part of this victory. Everyone. So that's what Us United is about, and Us United continues is what I'm hearing. Is that's an ongoing little mantra going forward. Because it's from the film. Itself, Ben Affleck actually says it. So, and it's about just that messaging, AFSP. Like you mentioned with the happy holidays, is someone reminded me that, it's like I'm grateful I have, my family and friends. Not everyone has that support. You get around holiday time and a pandemic. That makes AFSP even more important. And that's what, we really are trying to keep that awareness and knowing that whatever you donate is actually helping, helping people be on call, for people that really need.
Right. And I think if, and I think I mentioned on Twitter that if my father-in-law knew about that, maybe it could have stopped him from taking his own life. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it's touched a lot of families. And if you really just look at the, the human side of it, and you see that Zack is so behind it, it's so personal to Zack as well. So that's the legacy of this fandom. Like I said, it's more than a movie. That's the legacy is what we're doing. So we'll keep that focus.
It's gonna be dope though.
On top of that, we're gonna get like
it's gonna be a dope movie. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be fire.
Oh yes, hey, there we go. Fire. Where's Anthony at? Did he put some fire in here yet? But yeah, like Jessica says, Jessica's so awesome. Right on cue. Us United. For myself and Chris Wong-Swenson, who he promised he'll come back. So we
thank you, Phil.
Appreciate everyone showing up. As we said, I always remind people, anything we talk about that's not confirmed, it's all speculation till it's confirmed. Y'all stay safe out there.